some layout refurbishment today. Let me first of all show you what I'm up against, and then you can see the progress I'm making. I think you can quite clearly see there on that's just primed wood. That's on some scenic part. That white stuff, all that white, is delaquescence. It's not mold, it's salts, but a result of dampness, really. Now what you can see here is the edge where I've swept away some of the delaquescence. So now I'm going to just seamlessly sweep over to the bits that I've been working on. These are, I forget what they are. I think they're built easy, but these are really paper models, and so the dampness has allowed these to get rather, well, soggy, damp and soggy. So what I've done is brushed the delaquescence off. This model, I dropped something on it, so it's got a caved in roof. Reattached the chimney in a couple of places. There's still a chimney pot missing here, which I'll look at later. And generally had a little sweep around to remove the delaquescence, and then sprayed with a matte varnish, which has stabilized the buildings and hopefully will help prevent further problems. So let's have a look here what we're looking at. There's a scooter there parked in front of the house, separate detached garage to these detached very nice houses for the period. A couple of children walking up the drive of this one, and someone coming home with a suitcase. This one, they've got the caravan in the yard, and the lady walking to the post box. There's the first of 3 or maybe 4 post boxes on this layout. The other house, there's a person standing in front of the gate, and if I move out with my own light, I think the postman has just leant his bicycle against the gate and is about to deliver the post. And in the next house, 2 children are watching someone fix their scooter. He's down there trying to repair his scooter. Somebody about to rush to go and get the bus, I think, there. And that's and as we move a bit further onto the road, which runs around towards the town, according to the lamppost, the signpost there, a couple of people walking along the pavement round to the town. Perhaps that road could do with a touch of I don't know, a touch of grey on it would help. But that goes behind the pub, and I have done the same thing with the pub. Hopefully, well, you won't know what it looked like before, but it does look a lot cleaner and sturdier now, and the pub garden has got less sawdust debris in it. It must be a warm period, warm season, because there are people sitting outside in the pub garden enjoying themselves, enjoying a drink or even a meal maybe, sitting on those park benches there. Oh look, you see, as I'm filming, I can see a load of delaquescence over there in the corner, which I'd not seen. The policeman outside the telephone box has been reattached. He'd fallen over, and perhaps that's another postman just having collected the post from that post box there. This was really covered, and so I've given that a good brush. A couple of spots of the ground where it still is evident, and I'll just touch those up with some green later. But that's the signal box there. While we're here, we might as well have a stroll around the allotments. We can see some plants growing here, a scarecrow in that veg patch, and a person going to the old Nissen hut on the allotment, somebody bringing a parcel of something in, That's a bit of a broken down building with a barrel outside. 6 geese there wandering around. They'll make short work of the, they need to be rounded up, don't they? Put into their pen. And how many is that? 7 hens. Yeah, that's about 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hens and a scarecrow again. Oh, and look, some raised beds. And that's another scarecrow in that plot. And there's the bean poles and somebody at work in the garden. And somebody carrying a lamb along there. Who knows? It could be a, could imagine it's a dog. Another person. Water butts near each of the buildings and a couple of pigeon lofts. Well, there are a few pigeons. I think that's, don't know if you can count them on the video. So that's 6 pigeons, 4 on one pigeon loft, 2 on another, and there's the pigeon fancier looking out for his pigeons before the allotments degenerate into the rough area at that end. So, good use of doors in the allotment to form compost heaps and barriers there. So that's the little allotment area opposite the detached houses. Now I did, these were in a sorry state. All the windows had come loose. So I detached these from the baseboard. The other buildings, I had to go at detaching them. But certainly with these paper buildings, there's no way you could lift them off the baseboard without completely destroying them. They're very thin paper. But the card models are so well stuck down, it's like concrete. I had a decorator's scraper, and I was hammering it under the buildings to try and get them dislodged. I think it was this water tower. But I did manage to get the 8 terraced houses detached and was able to take those inside to work on. The chimney pots aren't straight, but they aren't on some in reality. And I've reattached all of the windows there because we've got a modern material now, glue and glaze. On these super quick buildings, the windows were held in with just pieces of sellotape. And the other thing that I've done is painted on the curtains. There were strips of some sort of cellophane for some of the curtains. So we've now got windows back into those buildings. Bit of repair needed. Now, I did consider rebuilding them. I'm going to a show tomorrow, going to Doncaster, and they generally tend to have second-hand card models. You know, I could have picked up some which were better condition than the ones I've refurbished. But in the end, I just had a go, and I'm fairly pleased. I've not bothered too much about the other side, the non-viewing side. Nobody's going to be going behind this layout anymore. So I've just tidied up the backs, the viewing side, and the gardens now will need some treatment to relay the flags and the bits of lawn and straighten out some of those dividing walls. And I need to get the building so they sit better. Too much of a gap there. Get those two together. So that's where my refurbishment has got me. Oh, I've gone part way down the mill building at the back there, this water tower. You can see where I've not done. But it's an opportunity to just look around this layout again and why I don't want to scrap it, why I'd much rather retain it, because the guys over on the Fylde who built this did the sort of thing that I would have done myself. Absolutely, it's a layout I would have built for myself, that they built, with the factory back there representing the era and location that I like. And I think the thing that's, yeah, I was going to add a hoist. That's all right. And you can see I've not got to this part yet. So that's the part where the buildings are still dusty on top. they've got delaquescence in front, and I will get to that later. And that's unvarnished over there, and with the matte varnish on here, looking better in my opinion. And I've reattached the tree. There's lots of other little bits and pieces, like telegraph pole without head. I had thought about putting lights in, but I can't find any LED lights of a similar style, and I like that style. I didn't like the style, and there's rather a lot of them, so I'm quite happy to keep all those lights. The station building, I've got to rebuild the station. I decided to replace completely, and that's been replaced with cast one. So there we go. That's this end of the layout, and that's my excuse for coming down into the shed. And if I swing back, you'll see why it gets wet. It's because it's in a low part of the garden. It rarely gets direct sun, and there's a part of this shed which is open down there, even though I've insulated it. And the hum in the background is because I have put a heater on. I've now got myself a dehumidifier. It has taken the humidity down from 90 to 76. 76 is still quite humid, but that's better. And I'm going to close the door now and see what I can do. And again, about humidity condensation, when I warm this up with the fan heater, this door it starts to run with moisture because the door is cold and uninsulated. So that acts as a cold plate. There's more of this salt deposit, whereas some of the rest of it is insulated, and that stops the condensation. Hope that's been of some interest.